Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone has built a career on redefining limits. From her dominance in the 400-meter hurdles to her jaw-dropping ability to transform into a flat sprinter, she has captivated fans with a blend of elegance and raw athletic power. At only 25, Sydney has already achieved what most athletes dream of: a double Olympic gold medalist, multiple-time world champion, and world record holder in her specialty event. But as the next world championships in Tokyo loom, a new challenge brews. Should she take on the 400m flat event? One voice who has entered the debate with resounding clarity is none other than Justin Gatlin, the former world and Olympic 100m champion known for his outspoken takes and wealth of experience in track and field. Gatlin has made it clear where he stands on Sydney's potential foray into the 400m. His words, while layered with praise, also carried a warning, a message that Sydney, her team, and the wider track community cannot ignore. The Gatlin perspective. During a recent podcast appearance, Justin Gatlin was asked about the possibility of Sydney McLaughlin Levrone taking on the flat 400m at the Tokyo World Championships. His response was as blunt as it was thought-provoking. Sydney is a generational talent, no doubt, but the 400m isn't just another event, it's a battlefield. If she chooses to step into it at Worlds, she's not just racing the clock, she's stepping into a lion's den. For Gatlin, who spent over 2 decades competing at the highest levels of sprinting, the 400m flat event represents a unique storm of speed and endurance. It is a race that breaks down even the strongest athletes, requiring not just speed, but also the mental resilience to manage pain over the last 100m. His warning wasn't dismissive of Sydney's talents. Quite the opposite. Gatlin made it clear that he sees Sydney as one of the only athletes alive who could take on the task, but his caution was rooted in respect for the 400m as an event and acknowledgement of the ferocity of the competition waiting for her. The 400m, a different beast. Sydney's reputation comes largely from the 400-meter hurdles, where she has rewritten the record books. Many argue that running the hurdles should automatically give her an edge in the flat 400m. After all, if she can clock a world record of 50.68 seconds while clearing 10 hurdles, what could she possibly do without them? But, as Gatlin pointed out, the equation is not that simple. People think if you take away the hurdles, it's easy math, that she'll just run a second and a half faster. But that's not how the 400m works. The rhythm is different, the pacing is different, and the competition is brutal. The 400m has specialists who have lived and breathed that pain for their entire careers. Sydney would be entering their house. In other words, the event is not just about raw ability, but also about experience and race strategy. Athletes like Meryl Lady, Paulino, SWA Nazar, and even Shy Miller Wibbo, when at her best, know the nuances of the 400m in ways that Sydney, despite her brilliance, would still be adjusting to. Sydney's silent decision. For now, Sydney McLaughlin Levrone has kept her cards close to her chest. She has hinted at exploring the flat 400m before, even dabbling in the 200m, but has never committed fully. Her coach, Bobby Kersey, is notorious for keeping training plans under wraps until the last moment, adding to the speculation. Fans want to know, will Sydney double at the Tokyo World Championships? Will she continue to dominate the hurdles, or try to make history in the flat? Or perhaps both? The allure of seeing Sydney potentially chase a sub-48 time in the flat 400m is irresistible. Analysts and fans alike argue that she may be the only athlete with the potential to not just win but redefine what is possible. in the event, but Gatlin's words serve as a sobering reminder. Brilliance in one discipline doesn't guarantee dominance in another. Gatlin's deeper message beyond the warning. Gatlin also made it clear that he believes Sydney's legacy is already secure. She doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. She's already cemented her name in history. But if she chooses to step into the 400m, she has to be prepared for war. It's not just about talent. It's about respecting what that race demands. This perspective highlights Gatlin's respect for track and field as a sport where every event has its specialists, its intricacies, and its grueling requirements. While Sydney is undoubtedly capable, Gatlin's message was essentially, don't underestimate the mountain you're about to climb. The track world reacts predictably. Gatlin's comments set off debates across the track community. On social media, fans split into camps. Sydney will dominate the 400m just like she dominated the hurdles. She's that good. Gatlin is right. The 400m is no joke. She might medal, but beating Paulino right now, that's a tall order. If Sydney runs both the 400-meter hurdles and the flat 400m at Worlds and wins, she's the greatest female sprinter ever. Period. The chatter underscores just how monumental Sydney's decision could be. Her entry into the 400m at the Tokyo World Championships would not just add intrigue, it could redefine the narrative of the entire event. Sydney versus the legacy question. One of the most fascinating subplots is how this potential shift ties into Sydney's overall legacy. She has already dominated her events so thoroughly that many wonder what new mountain she can climb. Some suggest that conquering the flat 400m could place her in the pantheon alongside legends like Michael Johnson, Allyson Felix, and Marie-José Perk, athletes who mastered multiple disciplines. Gatlin's warning then isn't to discourage her from chasing greatness, but to remind her that greatness comes at a cost. If she does it, she has to commit fully. You can't halfway the 400m. You either give it everything or it will eat you alive. The road to Tokyo. As the countdown to the Tokyo World Championships continues, all eyes are on Sydney McLaughlin Levrone. Will she chase another world record in the hurdles? Will she line up against the 400m flat specialists? Or could she dare to attempt both? Chasing an unprecedented double. Whatever she decides, Justin Gatlin's words echo as both encouragement and caution. His message wasn't just for Sydney, it was for the sport itself. Respect the grind, respect the event, and respect the athletes who dedicate their lives to mastering it. Conclusion, a warning. Wrapped in respect, Sydney McLaughlin Levrone has never shied away from pressure. If anything, she thrives under it. Her calm demeanor hides a ferocious competitor who seems to shine brightest on the biggest stages. Gatlin's warning then might not scare her. It might fuel her. But as the world, Sydney McLaughlin Levrone under fire. Justin Gatlin's bold 400m warning at Tokyo Worlds. 1. A legendary hurdler's daring shift. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone, celebrated as one of the greatest 400m hurdlers ever, boasts an incredible resume. Olympic golds in Tokyo 2020 and Paris 2024, multiple world records, most recently 50.37s at Paris 2024, and an unbroken winning streak since 2019 in her specialty event. Wikipedia, BBC, Sportstar. Yet, in a bold pivot, she has set her sights on the flat 400m, a different beast requiring raw speed and strategic pacing. Sportsnews, Sportskita. This move signals a strategic expansion, challenging herself beyond the familiar hurdles. 2. Dominating the 400m flat at nationals. At the 2025 USATF National Outdoor Championships on August 2nd, McLaughlin Levrone unleashed a stunning 48.90s performance in the 400m final, just 0.20s from the American record. dominating the race and securing her spot at the Tokyo World Championships. Sportskeeda. Justin Gatlin, the seasoned sprinter, praised her approach as bold and calculated, acknowledging she definitely had a couple of tricks up her sleeve. Sportskeeda. 3. Gatlin's vocal backing and cautionary advice. On his podcast Ready, Set, Go, Gatlin continued to champion her readiness. He noted her shift to a full-out sprint, devoid of the choppy cadence of hurdling, positioning her as a legitimate contender against 400m specialists like Marilady Paulino and Solveig Nazer. Sportskeeda. However, Gatlin also issued a clear warning. The 400m flat at the Tokyo Worlds is stacked with talent. He spotlighted Paulino's stunning Diamond League comeback, where she overtook Nazer late in the race, clocking 49.18s, and asserted, "Moving forward, it's going to be very, very hard for anybody to beat Paulino at the World Championships." Essentially sports. 4. The pressure of transition. Gatlin underscored the immense pressure McLaughlin Levrone now shoulders. While she is adored for her dominance in hurdles, the flat 400m commands different expectations and scrutiny. Venturing into a new event demands respect and nerves of steel. Sportskeeda. He further elevated her aura by comparing it to Usain Bolt's. That kind of dominance transcends good luck. Instead, one simply says, "Do your thing." Sportskeeda. 5. Synthesis. The stakes in Tokyo. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone's shift to the flat 400m isn't a side detour, it's a statement. She's venturing into uncharted territory with both the speed and mindset to compete against the best. Gatlin's message is twofold. Acknowledge the tremendous talent and drive she brings, but beware. Tokyo's 400m field is stacked, and Paulino stands as a formidable specter. Creative reflection. What's riding on this turn? A renaissance of sprinting. McLaughlin Levrone's move signals a profound reinvention. She refuses to be defined strictly by hurdles. This is a sprinter evolving into a versatile track titan. It's as if the sun, having dominated a horizon, seeks a new skyline. Clashing titans on Tokyo track. Imagine the fireworks, her smooth, powerful strides radiating from lane 4, cutting turf like a blade. Opponents cling to her wake. Paulino surges. Nazer pumps arms. The stadium roars. This is not just a race. It's a modern fable of speed and ambition. The burden of the crown. Once you've redefined your event, the world expects more. Switching to a new challenge doesn't erase past laurels. It sharpens the focus on results. Gatlin reminds us, comfort zones are rare luxury, especially for women whose podiums are already gilded. Legacy in motion. Should she break through in the flat 400m, McLaughlin Levrone would eclipse yet another frontier. Not merely a hurdler, she'd be penning her own myth across disciplines, like a composer mastering new instruments to weave an everlasting symphony. Final thoughts. Will she handle it? Justin Gatlin clearly believes she can. She's a championship athlete. We know she can get the job done. Sportskeeda. But Tokyo's 400m awaits. Will her transition signal the rise of a new sprint queen? Or will she gasp in her exceptionality? Find new challenges yet unexplored? Time to watch history in motion.